Hey everyone, so today we're on the Boardwalk in Ocean City, Maryland to film the first video in what I hope to be a series that I'd like to call a salute to small independent parks, or SIPs. Okay, well maybe that name's terrible, we'll rethink it, but for right now we'll call it SIPs. This park is kind of special in that it's sort of divided up into two sections. They have the section behind me, which is right up on the Ocean City Boardwalk, and then at the other end of the boardwalk and across the street is a second Jolly Roger park. So we're going to go take a look at this boardwalk park first, and then we're going to go over and take a look at the one that's on the opposite end. There are three different entrances into the park, but if you enter from the side closest to the water, you're greeted by this giant stand-up figure of the Jolly Roger. Right next to him as well is a look at the map of this side of the Jolly Roger, the one at the pier. As you can see, it specifically says at the pier to let you know which end you're on. And here's all their rides. Here's a list of the rides. And as well, they let you know that they have ATM, first aid, and some food down here hidden by the plants. Ticket booths and restrooms as well. So starting at the entrance where we started the video, you first enter over to guest services. If you need any help, you can just go straight in there. Beyond that, you come right to the ticket booth. And here's a look at the amount of tickets that each ride you can expect to spend. The roller coaster, which they list as roller coaster, is 10.5. Surprisingly, the giant Ferris wheel is more at 11. And here's a look at the height requirements and the number of tickets for everything else. And they accept cards here. If you're paying with cash still, though, there is an ATM on the back side of the kiosk. Beyond that is a small bank of lockers so you can store your things if you don't feel like carrying them around, or if you just don't want to take them onto the ride platform. Let's see if they have the dollar amount on the screen here. And let's see, it is $8 per day for a medium, if you can see through the glare. Large is $12, and a family size is $20 per day. So in here you can get a look. These are the smalls, the mediums, and the family size on the end. Beyond that, on both sides of the walkway are t-shirt and hat stores. You can also get a hermit crab in here as well. Straight in front of me is the second exit from Jolly Roger, as well as a game. You will use a ring on a string to pick up bottles from the ground. If you can successfully lift the bottle straight up, you win one of the prizes. The third exit is this way through what I like to call the tunnel of games. There are games on both sides of this walkway through here, and there's also an ice cream shop at the end. So if you are getting hot and need something refreshing, just go down here and you can pick it up. Getting down the main thoroughfare of the park, you come to a mini pirate ship, a child-sized pirate ship, though I believe adults can get on here too, though that might be a tight fit. After that, you come to the ride known as the Kraken, which goes in a circle and kind of bounces riders up and down as it spins. In the center here is, if I look up, you can see it's a drop tower. However, the drop tower is down for maintenance at this moment. Next to that is a kiddie ride that looks like a bunch of airplanes that kids can sit and spin around. It looks like that one is also closed for maintenance, unfortunately. Across from that are your standard bumper cars, of course with a racing theme. This is a ride that I'm very disappointed is also down for maintenance right now. The 360, swing you back and forth and eventually turn you completely upside down. I was hoping to ride that today, but it looks like that's not going to happen. They have yet another ticket booth right next to a basketball game. And they have an abundance of ticket booths here, so if you're looking for tickets, they're not hard to find. The rest of the center aisle is a bunch of carnival-style games. You have one of the water squirting games. Beyond that, you have toss a ring onto a bottle. And opposite the ring toss game is one of the main attractions of this park. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but it's a giant Ferris wheel. What we saw on the sign, that is the only thing that costs more tickets than the roller coaster. Sponsored by Pepsi for some reason. Continuing on, there is a balloon pop game. A larger ticket booth, which, while we're here, I should also give you some prices. They have an all-day armband for $31.99. That's valid from 1 to 5 p.m. here, or 2 to 6 p.m. at the other location we're going to check out later. Or a nighttime armband for $35.99, which is valid from 7 to 11 at either spot. They also have a Passport to Fun, which, in addition to being able to ride rides, you can also use these points on the carnival games here if you choose. If you want to buy individual points, they call them points and not tickets here because they give you a card to swipe rather than actual tickets. Each individual point is 70 cents. Continuing along, there is another water squirting game with some other prizes. A henna tattoo and hair wrap store across from the Ferris wheel. An exit to the parking lot, and beyond that, behind the ticket booth is what I consider to be the star of this particular park, the Looping Star, which as you can see is a looping roller coaster. Thankfully we're walking by as a train is going. We just got off of our first ride on this coaster and we enjoyed it, but it was pretty head-banging. We both thought that that's probably better suited for kids than adults, despite the extreme conversion, the extremeness of the inversion. We still think it'd be better suited for kids. As you can see, as you're coming out of the loop, there's a camera there. You have the option to purchase your picture after you ride. Behind that is a rare double-decker carousel that's about to start right now. There are swing-type seats on top for you to sit on if you choose not to ride a horse, and they also have a teacup-style seat on the bottom as well as your traditional bench. So plenty of room to sit and ride. They also have a mini Himalaya, and they have a larger Himalaya that they call the Hurricane. Across from the Hurricane, this booth here is where you would pick up your photos from riding on the coaster. And then they end the walkway with the Pier Cafe, where you can buy, a variety of snack type foods. They have your cheeseburgers, your chicken sandwiches, cheesesteaks, chicken tenders, Pepsi products. Pretty standard fare. And then you come to a boardwalk at the end. Walking down the opposite side from the midway is this ride that is a zombie haunted manor themed attraction. We have never ridden this, but it seems like it would be right up our alley. If we come back, we might have to give this a try next time. Next to that is a mini teacup ride, kid-sized teacup ride. Next to the teacups, they have the more extreme rides, the Power Surge, lifting people way up and fully inverting them. And then beyond that is the Twister, which is kind of like an aerial version of the teacups. You can sit 4 people to a car and spin yourself as the whole ride spins around. And then you have the Crazy Cabs, a spinning family ride. And last but not least, the Prize Factory, which is yet another game. It looks like the type of game where you have to knock cups off of a wall. And there's actually a slingshot over here, which is not included if you buy any of those wristbands that we saw earlier. the price of the slingshot is not included in any of those. So that one is $40 a person, $70 for 2 people, and you can get some extras on there as well. And aside from this basketball game and the fishing game over here, that will bring us right back to the start. So, as you saw, the Jolly Roger that's on the pier is a very small park. It really fits the definition of small. The other Jolly Roger in Ocean City is all the way at the opposite end of the boardwalk, as I said earlier, which is about 2.5 miles away. So depending on your walking speed, it could take 45 minutes to an hour to walk there. You could of course drive if you wanted to, but through the magic of theme park power, we will do that. And now all of a sudden we're at the other Jolly Roger park, as you can see from the big statue behind me. This is what the smaller one needs, a giant statue like that. So let's take a look at what this park has. So here's a look at the map for this Jolly Roger. Even though it's significantly bigger, and you can tell from the map that there's a lot more going on, it's actually 3 parks in one. As you can see at the very top is Speed World, a series of go-kart tracks. In the center you have Splash Mountain, which is, as you can probably see from all the blue, a water park. There's actually 4, because they also have Treasure Golf down here, which is a full 18-hole mini golf course. And then this little yellow corner down here, well, they also have Jungle Golf as well, so they have 2 18-hole golf courses. And then the rest is Jolly Roger Amusement Park. So it takes up a significantly small chunk of this whole map. Here's a list of the rides they have. You can see there's a Wildcat coaster, a Ferris wheel, some bumper cars, a Flying Dutchman, which is a Music Express style ride, a series of kiddie rides, a Wacky Worm kiddie coaster, a train, a carousel, a fun house, and the Spider, which is one of those octopus rides that takes forever to load and unload. If you happen to catch some Christmas music in the background, don't be fooled. We are filming this in the middle of the summer, but the park is doing a special Christmas in July. In addition to the music, they're getting a little bit festive by putting some lights down. Even though they're just white lights, there's no red and green, but they have lights hanging down from their guest services area and their restroom area. Welcome to Jolly Roger Amusement Park. As you can see right next to this big banner, they have a sign pointing you to the tickets. So right at the entrance, they have a ticket booth, which is convenient. And then you come right into some carnival rides. You have your Ferris wheel. You have some kid-sized teacups, and beyond that some kid-sized cars on a track and a fun slide. There is a soft pretzel and cotton candy stand, as well as a cafe that serves real food back here, Big Willie Cafe. This Madagascar adventure right here is a funhouse attraction. I believe adults can do it, but I think it's mainly focused on kids, especially judging by the cartoons that are trying hard not to infringe on the DreamWorks Madagascar copyright. Monkey Mayhem allows you to sit in one of 4 different colored monkeys and spin them around. And then there is a regular sized pirate ship. We saw the smaller pirate ship over at the other Jolly Roger, so here's its adult-sized counterpart. They also have a tilt-a-whirl and this whale ride that goes in a circle for kids. Speaking of fair-style attractions, this is one of the few permanent amusement parks that has a zipper anymore. I have to admit that I have never actually ridden a zipper. Back behind the car ride is the entrance to the Jungle Golf. Even without actually going on the course, I already love the theming with the tiki heads and also the white tiger. So if you notice it's a little bit duskier than when we started earlier, it's because we grabbed something to eat real quick. We ate something outside of the park because we didn't really see any options that interested us inside. But here's a look at the rest of the park. As you saw, we were near the fun slide. Beyond that, here is the entrance to the water park, which the water park closes at 6, which the actual theme park or amusement park closes at 11, so it closes a full 5 hours earlier. So keep that in mind if you plan to visit the water park. You have the entrance to the Iron Horse Railroad, which is a fun little train. We'll actually have a full ride through, or perhaps a nearly full ride through later on in this video. crossing the train tracks, there is a traditional swing ride, a water squirting game, as well as another fishing game, even though they had a fishing game over at the other Jolly Roger. And now we get into the kiddie area. They have the little helicopter ride, a child-sized pirate ship, a child-sized drop tower, and then beyond the swings is something very interesting for a small park. This little area over here is a stage for a stunt show. Believe it or not, they actually do a stunt show here. It's circus themed. It's known as Circus Smile. You have actors that will, or performers I should say, that will run up on these circular pieces of metal while they spin. I happened to see someone stacking chairs on this piece of metal in the center and climbing. As you can see, the various colored chairs off to the side here. The performer would stack those up and climb to the top of them. And there's some other tricks that we didn't get to see, but it was very impressive for a park of this size. I was not expecting that. Here is a truck behind that performing stage with 4 different games on it. There's a balloon popping game. There's this game with these cans. I'm not exactly sure, but I assume you have to knock the cans over. Oh, there's a gun in there, so I'm assuming it's BBs you shoot at the cans to win prizes. Here is the spider ride that we saw on the map, themed suspiciously close to Spider-Man, but far enough away to avoid copyright, just like the Madagascar ride. Here is a Mardi Gras themed fun house that starts off with a mirror maze. This is one of 3 different mirror mazes at the Ocean City Boardwalk area. One of them is owned by Ripley, and another one is owned by another amusement park that we will look at another time. Here is Heart Flip, which is similar in nature to the Twister. You ride in these heart-shaped vehicles and spin them as the ride itself spins around. Here's a look at one of the coasters, the Barracuda. This is an interesting coaster because the ride vehicle is kind of a bobsled style ride vehicle, but the track, as you can see, is not. It's a pretty traditional track, but the cars being the way they are make it interesting, since you'll have someone sitting at the very back and then another person sitting on that person's lap if you're riding in a group of 2. So that was a fun little coaster. It was probably one of the less rough coasters we rode here today, but the ride vehicle was very uncomfortable. For me, anyway. Jen was using me as a cushion, so she was fine. Beyond that, we come to the Flying Dutchman, which is, as you can see, a Music Express style ride. This one's also pretty uncomfortable. If you're the larger person who's sitting on the outside and you get crushed into, it can be very uncomfortable. The wall of that vehicle is not padded at all. And we're back around again to the Ferris wheel. This is a very old school style Ferris wheel, and at the very top of it, though, it has an amazing view of the surrounding area. Like most Ferris wheels have a great view from the top, but this one, if you look one way, you can see the ocean. If you look the other way, you can see the bay. So you get 2 bodies of water in one view. And here we are to what is probably the hidden gem of this park, is the Wildcat coaster. It is sort of similar in nature to a Wild Mouse coaster, except that the turns are actually banked, so they're significantly more comfortable. And every drop on the coaster goes all the way to the ground, so it's fun to be looking down, seeing where you're about to go, and seeing that you're going all the way down after you drop. And this is a fun sign to look at night as well. I'm glad we made it over here at nighttime. Behind the Wildcat is a little smaller performance stage with a giant pirate ship in the backdrop. You can see from the sign out in the front they have a new pirate show here that performs on that stage periodically. Monday through Thursday at 7:30 and 8:45. Beyond that, a fun little addition. They have some stockades you can stick your head and arms through for a photo opportunity. Jen got caught not misbehaving. The area next to the Wildcat also sports what must be the brightest, most obvious ticket booth on property. It's a hard one to miss if you're looking to get tickets. This is where you want to come if you're away from the park entrance. Another quick look at the water park past that ticket booth across the train tracks. That's closed for the night already, so it looks kind of sad, but they do have some fun looking slides in there. There's also a funnel cake place, which is right next to the obligatory bumper cars ride. They call this one Rockin' Rollin', themed to cars and music. And of course, one of the many Wacky Worm clones here. This is the one credit that we opted to skip because we didn't feel like getting beaten up on this. We were afraid this would be too rough, so we just said nope. Here's a quick look at the opposite side of the pirate ship that we saw on the train ride as we passed by. In addition to the white lights that they have hanging down near the guest services and the bathrooms, every pole is covered in multicolored Christmas lights as well. We never would have noticed that if we didn't come here later in the day. Interesting, this last pole has a different set than the others. I assume that wasn't intentional? I don't know. But even more important, we missed this earlier. More Christmas lights on some netting lead to this pirate display. That's a pretty awesome pirate display. This is on the opposite side of the ticket booth, so if you go toward the rides, you're going to miss this after you get your tickets. You're going to miss this. You have to come back around the opposite side where the bathrooms are to see this. And if you notice, the skeleton has some glowing red eyes. So that's our walking tour of both Jolly Roger amusement parks. We hope you found the video informative if you plan on coming here in the near future. Also, please let us know in the comments if you've ever been here before or if you are planning a trip here in the future. We'd like to know your thoughts on the parks and the rides that they have there, especially the coasters, because we found the coasters to be a little bit rough, but still most of them were surprisingly fun. So if you enjoyed the video, we would appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Every like and subscribe really helps out a lot. And also, please remember to check out our Instagram page, which is appearing in the corner right now. And also check out our new Threads page, which I still don't have a Threads logo yet, but here is our Threads username, which is the same as our Instagram name. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for watching, but the fun's not over yet. Click the box in front of my face for another fun video. Or click my tree to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss another video.